we're going to get into margins. So we've talked a little bit about margins and where they can reside. This system is currently set up to have margins at the filter set level. If I jump to the filter list tab for this lead type, you can see we have different margins set up and there's different types. So going into the partner side and taking a look, first thing we'll do is look at a fixed price lead buyer. So in this case, I am selling leads to this partner, in this case at $10 up to $50 an hour and $500 per day. And if we go into the filter set, that third option is the profit margin. So we have different options here that we're going to go through. In this case here, because I'm selling this lead at $10, we have a $3 margin. That means that when a ping comes in from any of these sources and it matches to this filter set, we will take out $3 and return $7 back to the vendor as their represented bid. Now, there's no real reason to use these other options because $10 is $10. You're always going to sell the lead at a fixed price to that buyer. So then you might as well just take the fixed margin. If we look at these filter sets, the delivery method can be email, can be a direct post to their CRM or dialer. In those cases, it doesn't matter. It's how you are sending them the lead. And then when you are posting them the lead, we are waiting for that success response or that you sent the email before responding with a success to the vendor. We're going to jump over to the other side of the coin here, which is a dynamic buyer. So this is somebody that tells you, I'm not going to give you a fixed price. Ping me that information and I'll give you my bid in real time. So we have two options there. One can be dynamic and the other can be that pinging at a fixed cost that we talked about in the source wizard. So looking at the more common one of the dynamic bidder, you'll notice the price is zero. The reason is you don't know how much they are paying for the lead. They are dynamically bidding on that lead. So in this case, we do have options for either a variable or a scheduled margin. A variable margin basically says if this partner returns a bid between $0 and $5, take a 10% margin. If they return a bid between $5.01 and $10, take a 20% margin. And if they bid over $10, take a 30% margin. This gives you the ability to take more margin, the more your buyer's willing to pay for that lead, and less when there's less. So, the goal is always to return. This is something that's often contradictory to people's thoughts. Your goal should be to return the highest bid back to the vendor that you possibly can and still sell that lead profitably, because that gives you the highest opportunity to make this margin, which is how, if you are in that ping post process, how you make money. From a buyer's perspective, similar philosophy. Your goal should be to return the highest bid that you can for a cost per acquisition that will still back out, because that gives you the highest opportunity to win the lead. And you're winning because you can price that lead dynamically. You're winning that lead at a price that will back out in the cost per acquisition. Scheduled is a little bit less flexible and more based around time than it is based around the bid that is returned. So this allows you to essentially build a schedule to say, I want to take a 20% margin on Sundays, a 10% margin on Mondays, 20% margin on Tuesdays, and so on. This works a lot if there are significant differences based on things like time of day. And it was used more previously. I mean, in my opinion, the variable option is the way to go, because It doesn't matter what time they're taking it out. It's all based off of that bid. But I do understand there are some verticals where, the time of the day during business hours, it is hyper competitive. So that's where that schedule comes in. Finally, we have our AI adjuster. This is something that you probably don't see in your system. We have an AI model that looks for opportunities to bid down the lead. It's primarily for lead buyers, but if it is something that you're interested in working with AI to better price or margin your leads, please let us know. We'd be happy to explore.